Ever felt like someone was pushing you away and pulling you back in without even knowing why? One day they're all in, the next they vanish. It's frustrating, confusing, and honestly, it makes you question everything. But here's the thing, avoidants aren't doing this on purpose. Their behaviors are actually subconscious defense mechanisms. And if you don't understand them, you're going to take it personally. So let's break it down. 5 ways avoidants test you without even realizing it and what it actually means. Number one, they disappear when things get too good. Everything's going great, then suddenly they're gone. They cancel plans, get distant, or just seem emotionally checked out. You wonder if you did something wrong. They associate intimacy with losing control or getting hurt. Their brain goes, this feels too good. Something bad must be coming. Their disappearing act is a subconscious test to see, will you chase them? This confirms their fear of enmeshment. Will you punish them? This confirms their belief that closeness leads to rejection. Will you stay calm and give them space? This helps them feel safer. Don't panic. Let them come back on their own. Don't chase, guilt trip, or punish them. This only feeds their fears. When they return, be consistent, but don't over explain yourself. Number two, they get irritable over small things. They suddenly seem irritated by things that never used to bother them. They criticize small habits or get distant over harmless requests. You feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells. Their need for autonomy is kicking in, and your presence is starting to feel like a threat, even if you've done nothing wrong. This is their subconscious way of creating space before they feel trapped. It's a test. Will you lash out or guilt them? This reinforces their fear of emotional dependency. Will you smother them or fix it? This confirms their belief that people don't respect their space. Will you stay calm and give them room, helping them feel safe? Don't take the bait. Stay neutral. Instead of reacting emotionally, acknowledge their feelings and give them room. Example, hey, you seem a little off. Need some space? This signals that you're not a threat. Number three, they talk about space but still keep tabs on you. They say they need space but still check your social media. They withdraw emotionally but still ask what you're up to. They don't want to make plans but seem annoyed if you're busy. They're internally conflicted between craving connection and fearing it. Their subconscious test is, will you forget about them? Confirming their fear of abandonment. Will you chase? Confirming their fear of losing independence. Will you stay steady but not invasive? Reassuring them. Give them space, but don't reward the push pull cycle by over explaining yourself. If they check in or act jealous, acknowledge it lightly, but don't play into mixed signals. Example, I figured you needed space, so I've been doing my thing. This removes the pressure. Number four, they ignore deep conversations, but secretly crave them. You bring up feelings or the relationship, and they shut down. They change the subject, joke about it, or get defensive. But later, they subtly show they were listening. Deep conversations trigger fear of vulnerability, but they still want connection. Their subconscious test? Will you force them to open up? This feels like pressure. Will you take it personally? This confirms their belief that relationships are emotionally draining. Will you respect their timing, but stay open, helping them feel safe? Instead of demanding deep talks, drop thoughts casually and confidently. Example, I know emotional stuff isn't your thing, but I like understanding where we stand. Give them time, but avoid pushing. Five, they're overly independent, even when they're struggling. This one's a classic. Let's break it down. They refuse help, even when they clearly need it. They downplay stress, illness, or personal struggles. They act like they don't need anyone, but seem frustrated when no one steps up. Their core belief, relying on others equals weakness. Their subconscious test, will you push them to open up? This feels invasive. Will you ignore their struggles completely, confirming their fear of being alone? Will you offer support but not force it, helping them to feel safe? Offer help without pressure. Example, I know you like handling things alone, but if you ever need something, I'm here. This reassures them that they're not alone without making them feel smothered. Avoidance aren't testing you to be difficult, they're protecting themselves. Avoidance don't sit around plotting ways to mess with you. They're reacting to deep rooted fears about intimacy, loss, and control. Their behaviors are unconscious defenses, not proof that they don't care. So stay steady. Avoidance feels safest with people who don't overreact to their push pull tendencies. Give space without resentment. Distance doesn't mean rejection, it's how they self regulate. Don't take it personally. Their reactions are about their own fears, not your worth. But set boundaries. Being understanding doesn't mean tolerating unhealthy patterns forever. At the end of the day, avoidance crave connection, but they're terrified of it. If you can navigate their tests with calmness and consistency, they'll eventually feel safe enough to meet you halfway. Sound like your vibe? Like, subscribe, and share if this resonated.